Yep.
To the station, really, you know, your contribution. Subscribe.
Mama.
There's one section on libel, Mitch. No false information.
Ha!
There's a
Mitch,
section
we're
on
talking to
libel.
you.
Maybe read that one pretty closely. No false information.
Yeah, I'm 6'4". Who's libel?
Sounds like a funny game. Yeah. But you guys know about like no calls to action and stuff like that. You want to refresh?
So, what was the question?
So
yeah,
call to action. So last time when you were on KXP, I don't know if you interviewed at all on KXP when you did it, but yeah, we don't want you, because we're a non-commercial station like KXP, we don't want you to specifically tell anybody what to do. If you have a show that you have coming out or an album, you can say, hey, we have an album coming out, we'd love for you to hear when it comes out, or we have new merch, it's gonna be cool, we have a show coming up, it's here, you can find our website here, not go do this, go do that, go buy our thing, that sort of thing. You don't mention the price of anything at all.
So like we just released an album. It's available.
Yeah, exactly.
on
Yeah.
our website.
Rather than like go listen to our album.
Go buy our album.
What about, can I tell people who to vote for?
You're funny.
Funny guy.
Funny guy.
Which ones do I sign?
That side.
Mitch doesn't know how to read.
Yeah.
That's true. I don't know how to read.
Reading song.
Hamburger.
Your Pro Tools subscription is renewing. Oh, thank you. Okay. So let's see. I will play another MP here. I think we'll play
Brother.
Steve Bloom.
Is that libel?
Damn, it should be.
Here we got green, blue, yellow.
I got the zoomies right now. That the fucking
Little sugar rush.
Crystal Light, dude.
Oh,
Sugar
got
guy
you.
doesn't have sugar in it.
Yo, Steve Bloom here, voice of Spike Spiegel.
I can't really hear myself.
Starscream, Tank from Call of Duty,
That's
Wolverine,
only the
Tom from
background.
Konami, and you're
It's everything
listening
else.
to
It's not.
88.1
Well, it's 'cause it's not on yet.
KWVA
Oh, okay.
91.5 KOC.
Thought you were a pro. Come on.
I don't need radio.
Because I'll find you.
Hey.
Turn about. See you, Space Cowboy.
Alright.
I want to cuss so bad.
Folks, welcome back to Live Sessions. How's it going? My name is DJ Taco Supreme, production coordinator, host today. We had a fantastic group in today, and they're sitting right in front of me. They're staring right at me. Oh my god, I guess I should let them talk. How you guys doing? Hi.
Good.
Hey, what's
Hi.
up?
I'm sitting here with
Mitch Midkiff.
and
Dylan Fuentes.
Miles Hubbard.
guitar, bass, drums, respectively. No, bass, guitar, drums, respectively in that order, since that's what I said. Folks, you guys are in the midst of some legends here in the making. Weepwave. Our listeners at home who are maybe not familiar with you, how would you guys describe your music for those who maybe just listen to the end portion of it?
Bad.
We are.
You let him speak for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bitch, you get the cough button. We're post-punk, psychedelic, garage rock.
Okay.
We got some dancey, electronic-y kind of stuff. We got some heavy stuff. We think our music is a good time.
I think so too. Mitch, would you like to add to that?
If you like Crazy Frog, you'd love us.
Your guys' music compared to some of the other groups I've had in here, you have sort of like this energy that I'm assuming is not entirely, but in some part inspired by like a little bit of a political thing / with like that Pacific Northwest flair. You guys are from Seattle, where there is like a culture of like protest music. How does Weepwave fit into that sort of place?
We're definitely angry.
Yeah, you're angry. So where does the anger come
Doesn't
from?
he sound angry? we're kind of angry.
I don't know, just being aware of things that are happening.
So,
Yeah.
Bert, what a polite college radio host. I'm not trying to offend anybody.
I would say, I don't know if any of our songs are very like protesty or politically. I think it's more about
I
like,
mean,
It's more about the vibe of it rather than the lyrics.
we have a couple. I wouldn't say that's like our main flavor focus, but we have War Boys, which is, I mean, that's kind of, it's a tribute to Mad Max, but it's obviously an anti-war song.
Right.
it's a bold stance to have.
I feel like our album was more like existential, the one we just put out, Spec. It's more like existential stuff rather than like political.
Well, let's talk about that album, Existential. And I first met you guys, well, informally met you, because I think it was Dylan. You reached out over email a couple months ago. We tried to set up a live session. The last time you were around, couldn't do that time, but we're able to get you in today, and it's awesome. It's a great way to start out the spring term that's about to start tomorrow. A lot of people are trying to graduate, including me. I think it's a great time to hear some new music on the college radio, and I hope that we've made some new fans today. This album, Spec, what can you tell us about it for people who may not be aware of, compared to what you kind of played today? You mentioned you played some new songs that are not on the album.
I was about like half and half, I think, today.
Yeah.
Like the first half was new, the first chunk was the album, middle stuff was new that we haven't recorded, and then like at the end was a mix.
Great.
Yeah.
So, you guys have a lot of like, kind of like interesting like technical setup. So you, Dylan, you basically had like a synthesizer next to you while you're playing. You dropped your guitar not dropped literally, but you put your guitar down and you just kind of sang for a couple of songs. And then we had the drummer doing some sweet pads, which is like a kind of a, I don't want to say a trend because that makes it sound bad, but it's like a thing that I keep seeing and it's really awesome. So where are these kind of technical things coming? Does it come from the fact that you have a solid audio engineer in the band who is kind of pushing you to expand your horizons in those kind of technical ways as a group, or do you just kind of like to fill out of that typical like guitar-based drums, like power trio sort of thing?
I feel like we all kind of dabble in a bunch of stuff, and so like Miles with a synth and pad, like that wasn't at the start, but then as we go, I feel like we got the bass like really like the basics, the foundation of the band like pretty good, and we just trying to like add different flavors and.
Yeah, and I think with this new album, we started doing a lot more experimentation with synths, and I think part of the challenge has been how do we have that stuff translate live, and I think bringing more gear, being able to sample stuff, being able to play some synths live is, I think, really enhanced our set and allowed us to kind of challenge ourselves to play some of these songs that were mostly crafted in the studio, but now we've really kind of had to rearrange them, figure out how to get them to perform well live.
When you say the songs are crafted in the studio, and what does that mean specifically?
Like the synth stuff, I think we came up with when we were recording. It wasn't like a pre-planned thing. So like in the studio, we added all this extra stuff, and then it was like after the album was recorded, it's like how do we perform this?
You just realize how bad the songs are without the synths. We're like, well, now we have to do this.
So yeah,
Where does this self-deprecation come from, Mitch?
It's fun.
Because
comes
it's
from his
fun?
childhood.
Let's not get into that.
Yeah, let's dive deeper. No, it's cool. So in that vein, like when you write songs together, whether it be like in the rehearsals or you're developing stuff in the studio, who is kind of the main songwriter of that, or do you each kind of bring something different to the table? How does it usually work?
I feel like each song starts different.
Yeah.
Like one of the songs we played, like the working title, I feel like that was you with the bass, and then like Slow Collapse, I think was stuff Miles was working on, and then like
There's definitely a lot where Dylan will bring kind of like lyrics and like guitar riffs and stuff, and then we all just kind of like glob shit.
I do all the lyrics and singing stuff, but yeah, the rest is like just mixed, like whatever happens, you know what I mean? Like yeah.
Yeah, I think somebody has an idea, you throw it in, usually we all then pick away at it and, eventually, come up with a song, but I think, sometimes it's challenging to have an idea thrown in, and everyone kind of
Picks at it.
changes it, but I think we generally end up with something that's, we've got all of our hands on it.
Yeah, so long as you're all happy with it,
Yeah.
As long, yeah.
We're all trying to serve the song the best, not necessarily like who came up with what part, but like if it fits the song. Yeah.
Are we all from Seattle here? These members of the band?
I'm from SoCal, like Orange County,
Okay, cool, nice.
but I've been in Seattle for like 10 years.
Before you all were like writing songs, what sort of things were you listening to that kind of led to where you're playing in Weed Wave right now? I mean, you mentioned like you described yourself as post-punk, so what type of post-punk influence is there if somebody can like refer to that, you know? Because I mean, anything
Yeah.
post is like kind of a broad category in a
sure.
way that, you know. So like, I'm curious what you were thinking of compared to, you know, who are your RIYL on your album when you send it out? Like, you listen if you like, you know, bands you're compared to.
It's not post-punk, but I know we all are big fans of Queens of the Stone Age. Mitch has a tattoo on his elbow.
Do you?
I got in
Um,
Portugal, the guy did not do a good job. Very, not, it's,
Well, you asked for it on your elbow. That's it.
I know,
It's
it's
a
totally.
part that moves a lot, I
Well,
think.
It was also, it's my own fault for insisting that I wanted it in a silly place, but also the guy had just finished doing 4 other people's tattoos back to back to back, and I was the 5th in line.
Those hands were shaking.
It was like midnight, and so he was so clearly so tired, so.
Well, I mean, that just makes it more unique. Something. So Queens of the Stone Age, right? Any other?
We
any
definitely
other
all
things?
like Viagra Boys.
Oh yeah. That's a good newer one. In terms of like middle school level, like musical obsessions, where were you guys at that time?
I honestly, like middle school, I guess, honestly, the first artist is so embarrassing, but the first
Yeah,
artist.
that's what that's why I'm asking. Yeah.
The first CD I ever owned was Straight Outta Linwood by Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah.
And
a
I
banger alert.
loved that. I listened to it. My parents hated Weird Al so much
Why? What's there to hate?
because I would listen to that same album over and over and over again. But aside from that, a lot of like Queen and AC/DC and stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, Weird Al, champion of college radio. So shout out him. What about you, Dylan?
I was really big on like the Who and Modest Mouse, or like probably lyrically probably like Modest Mouse is like closest to what. Yeah, I'm coming up with, I guess. Yeah.
That's okay. When I think about the set that you guys just had, I loved how like loud and dynamic it was. By the way, thanks for not playing too loud. I think that it was a perfect balance. You know, we're able to get some good recordings, and also people at home enjoyed it. I'm assuming, but you know, if you didn't enjoy it, call in 541-346-0645. We will ignore.
Can we take calls?
We can. Yeah. There's nobody else to screen it except me, so
That's
we're taking a big risk.
Now's your chance, people.
If it happens to be somebody that you know and you can vouch for them,
Call and say something crazy.
do not.
Please.
You guys recently did a set on KEXP, which is awesome because I had a person from KEXP last week, Seraphima. Shout out Seraphima, fantastic representative there. I feel like I don't know why I'm meeting so many people from Seattle lately, but tell me about that whole experience because they've had some big acts on there, and you know, what's it like when you arrive and when you end the day with, you know, having done something so cool?
It was so cool just being in there. Like it felt like stepping into a TV show you've watched a bunch, or like if you you know go to a town where a TV show or a movie that was shot there that you really loved was, and you just get to like, you're like, oh, that's like the Charmed house or whatever, and you get to go and like walk around it or whatever. And it was just cool being in that room with all my friends.
Keep talking for a second.
It was just cool. It was really cool being in that room, just with my 2 buddies. Especially with the way the lighting was so nice. It was just weird being like, oh, this is that YouTube channel that I watch all the time. And here I am with my 2 friends.
Yeah,
It was a little stressful.
Yeah.
it was definitely nerve-wracking, yeah.
We wanted to not
Oh
screw
wait,
up.
do you want me to put you on? Here, let me put you on the air.
We,
What's your name?
yeah, we spent a lot of time practicing,
Okay,
and,
1 second, Brad.
working our in-ear monitors, and yeah, we had like 3 weeks notice to get ready, and yeah, we practiced a lot going into it.
We have Brian on the other end there. Brian, how you doing? Hey, Brian, you said that you have a story about a middle school music. Mm-hmm. Okay. Classic.
Nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you, Brian. Bye bye.
We love you, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
Brian's such a real one. Oh man,
I love Brian.
Damn.
Brian, call back.
It's a real phone too.
it's a real phone that I had to pick up and then press a button, and
I was wondering what that green flashing light was.
the green flashing light means there's a call, and the red light means that somebody opened the front door.
Oh.
There's a blue light that means that we're off air, which would be bad, but that won't go
It
on.
just like, it started flashing as I was talking. It
With-
just like
Yeah.
wiped my memory. I was like, what am I even talking about right now?
It's so funny that like seeing things feel so normal, and then like you go live on radio or something, and you just don't really know what you're gonna say or what happens.
Mhm.
But when you went on KEXP, was that sort of like a comparatively different experience? Did you have like sort of like a the butterflies in the stomach feeling? Because I feel like I would no matter what.
It's definitely nerve wracking, yeah.
Yeah, I was very nervous going into that, to be totally honest. I felt it was nice because it was like the pressure is, I feel like the pressure was good because it made us really prepared. We'd actually kind of had that conversation where it was nice that it forced us to prepare just a couple songs and really like iron them out the way we hadn't done. Like we went and I have like a small recording setup, and I kind of mimicked exactly the way they multi-track in KXP.
Oh, cool.
And so we went and multi-tracked everything, and we had our rehearsals that way with our in-ears and multi-tracked and would listen back, because I think like in-studio format like that, I think a lot of the time things that translate well live don't translate well, as I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
In in-studio
Mhm.
format, it's like you're in a vacuum, so we just wanted to make sure that our performances were all fleshed out and our, everything sounded the way we wanted it to and how we wanted it all translated, so.
Did you like kind of intentionally exaggerate any part of like your movements as you're on stage because you know you're being filmed at all? Is that kind of subconscious that you do that?
I feel like if anything we may have dialed back
Really?
Yeah.
to be like safer.
Yeah, so I feel like me and Dylan kind of move around a lot
Yeah.
on stage. And I think I know I personally have a tendency where if I ham it up when I'm playing, I miss way more notes. So
Yeah.
we both kind of like dialed it back a little bit for the sake of not screwing up so much.
Also, there was like, at any given moment, like 3 cameras on you, so you didn't have like
Yeah.
too much room to like move a lot.
They're trying to stay there and keep their shot for as long as possible. Or,
Yeah, they're like
within reason.
right up in your face.
Yeah.
And you're tethered in with the in-ear monitors, and you know what I mean, like, so
Right.
you can't do show stuff, but I think we haven't even seen it yet,
No.
so we really don't know what it looks like.
It could be terrible, honestly. We don't know yet.
No, it's gonna be cool. I mean, I know it. I know it is. They all are. Did they have that rotating kind of drum camera that's on like a?
It's on that rail.
Yeah. Did they have that? Was that kind of like? Did you find yours? Because okay, every KXP video that I've seen where that, there's always at least one shot. I swear they include on purpose where the drummer's just like, their eyes just following the camera and they're like
Oh.
distracted by it and they're like, did that happen to you at all?
Probably.
Yeah.
I was trying not to. I mean, one thing helpful we did do is we brought, a couple of our friends came in and filmed kind of a practice set in Mitch's studio, and I think that was helpful to just kind of get used to the idea of having
Cameras.
a camera in your
Yeah.
face. I do think that was helpful going into it, to really just, try to focus on the performance.
Shout out Annika and Christian.
Those are people over at KXP.
Those are our friends.
Those are your friends.
Was it buttermilk?
Buttered Media.
Yeah.
They
Buttered
do,
Media.
They do a lot of video stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
For anybody who needs Seattle video stuff.
Yeah, I would love to like as a income start my own production company doing the type of things that I do here up there in Seattle or indeed wherever I end up. And I know that you guys also work in production spaces. This is more a personal question, but what advice do you have for someone like me who's going to be graduating soon?
Drink lots of water.
Good idea. Great start. Great start. It can only get better from here.
I mean, honestly, I think what you're doing is really cool. I think there's, personally, what I do is I do a lot of live sound. I do a lot of touring live sound, I do a lot of venue work. I work for a lot of venues doing sound in Seattle. And I think I've met a lot of people who are college students who don't, they're studying a thing, but they're not doing a thing. You know what I mean?
Right,
Where it's
yeah.
like, if you're, for instance, studying like live sound or audio engineering, go work at a small venue. Like, in my experience, it's like, I feel like you learn way more by actually doing, especially for those kind of like hands-on things. And it's something like Anthony Bourdain always talked about, like, you know, people who went to cooking school versus someone who'd been working in a kitchen. The other thing is it really tests whether you want to be doing that or not. You know what I mean? That's why I think it's really cool what you're doing, where you're actually doing the thing while you're also studying the thing. So
Thank you,
by the
yeah.
time you're done, you'll have twice as much experience, and you'll know that you actually want to do it because you've been doing it. You know.
I hope that translates to a viable work experience for like applying to places, but or otherwise I'll work for myself. I'll make up my own thing. As a you guys are kind of technically minded compared to some other, because there's some bands that they've come in here and they don't necessarily know like how to kind of set their amp to play to the room, or how to like kind of monitor yourself with the mic kind of forward and backward, kind of some basic stuff that just not as technically minded. But then I suppose a pro of that is being that you know how to record yourself and you're really confident in your own sound. But then a con of that is you must stress over that a lot more compared to other groups that want to just kind of play and don't care what the live sound sounds like. Do you feel that there are like pros and cons that I haven't mentioned to being like a technically minded band versus a kind of more chill out band like that?
I think these guys could probably attest to the fact that maybe I can be a little much for sound people.
This guy's a big old nerd.
I'm a big old nerd.
Well, there's got to be a fun story in there at least, maybe, you know?
Yeah.
You mentioned you
I'm
played
sure.
at Portland last night. So
Mhm.
what happened at Portland that was notable?
That is, you know,
Radio friendly version.
You know, butting heads with a sound person.
Mhm.
Very, very helpful. I'm not, you know, they did a fantastic job.
Mitch is very specific with
Sure.
what
I feel like-
he knows.
I feel like I rein it back a little.
And sometimes I feel like maybe sound people think you're like, I can't use the word I want to use.
No, no.
What about like snobby along
Not
that
snobby,
line?
but like,
Well, I hope not.
Particular.
let's just say particular.
It's
Yeah.
particular. Fair enough. And that particularity comes from where, you know?
I think it's because he knows what
Well,
he's
I care.
doing
I
and
also care.
cares, and
I think maybe it'd be good if I let a little bit of that go.
I think he has the best intentions of trying to like help the sound person, but the sound person just like never. They usually like don't talk to me.
Yeah.
They're usually like I just woke up and you were asking way too much.
It'll usually be something where it's like they want to take anybody who watches the video sees I have a very silly bass setup where I have a 118 subwoofer on the bottom, a 115 Ampeg cabinet in the middle, and then on the top is a 112
Combo guitar.
combo Hot Rod Deluxe.
Right. So for the layman, what he's saying is that he has 3 large speakers stacked on top of each other. They each hold different areas of the frequency band.
Yeah, exactly.
That way you can kind of control whether you sound more crunchy or where you sound more like a bass.
Yeah.
And it's a really cool setup, but
I think
some sound
sometimes
people.
there will be like a lot of the time they'll be like, oh, can I just pull a DI from it? I'm like, I'd prefer if you mic'd it. And then they'll be like, well, the DI sounds better. I'm like, I'd prefer if you mic'd it.
Right. When you told me that, and I was like, oh, he said I won't ask if I don't think if anybody says it, if you say it once, okay, and then like let me make sure you say it twice. Okay, gotcha. That's definitely what you want. It's because it's not a big deal to just try something.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if I think that I'm right, I won't say it unless I get an opportunity to. You know.
It also, I don't know, it's just music. It doesn't matter. I should just let it go.
It ended up sounding great, man. I think it was a really cool setup. You know.
Thanks.
It's relatively new too.
What were you doing before? Just straight.
I was
bass
just
band?
using that 115 with the Mark bass head, and it was good, but I think I just wanted more. More is more, you know.
More is
just like they always say.
That's good.
We've continued to add more elements.
Yeah.
At a rate that might be unsustainable at some point, but we haven't reached that.
Because
point
yeah,
yet.
his modular synth is like.
That's really cool.
I think yesterday was the first show you did it with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, Miles is pulling a lot of weight playing drums and sample pad and triggering them and making adjustments to a modular synth while he's playing. It's kind of scary, honestly. He scares me a little bit.
To to other drummers that may be listening, what are the advantages of pulling your weight, so as to say, adding more elements other than drums, is it a way for a drummer to get more involved in the songwriting process by having other elements to pull in, or is it just for vanity?
I think it's both. I mean,
Great.
I think having an element that's not just rhythm that you can contribute to songs, I think is, you know, as a drummer is really makes it more fun. I think it's also just a way to make, you know, what I'm doing every night more fun. There's a few more elements I can mess with and tweak and keep things interesting for myself, and hopefully the audience, you know, finds it interesting as well.
And have you had sound people have a similar reaction to when you say that, oh, I also need some DIs for these pads, and then Mitch comes into, like you said, no, he really needs it, and kind of advocates for you?
No, yeah, I think Mitch has been, you know, been great about helping kind of figure out what we need and how this can translate live the best, and I think, you know, kind of giving us that confidence on what we need. I think, you know, I do think for how complex our setup is becoming, it is also intentionally meant to be as streamlined as possible.
If you're just joining us, we are having a conversation with the group Weep Wave, all the way from Seattle. They just had a fantastic set here on Live Sessions that will be available in the coming weeks, where you can check it out. In the coming future, are we going to see some even weirder things in the instrumentation? When's the Weep Wave tuba player going to come on tour?
That'd be sick, honestly.
You know? Or like, I imagine like for some of the grumbly things that you do, just like baritone sax going through some weird pedals, maybe.
There's actually a great band in Seattle called JRCG that has like a sax player. And,
Oh yeah.
And just a bunch of weird elements, really noisy, weird stuff. They're worth checking out.
Yeah. In terms of the way that your music is going to evolve over time, do you have any predictions, or can you talk more about the new music that you're going to be releasing in the coming months?
We're kind of, because we did like the album, which
Yeah.
is like very spacey, cosmic, existential, whatever, and maybe like more rock and roll. Where the new stuff I think is going to be like more dancey, like disco punk. Like that whole middle section we played is like all the new stuff. So it's more like dancey and heavy. And yeah.
What's been the reaction to this album spec so far, and what do you think your fans will kind of have to say about this new album? Are they gonna be excited for this new direction? Do you think they're gonna have like mixed feelings about it? Because that is kind of a shift, but as long as it's still got that Weep Wave soul, that Weep Wave energy, and you can prove that, and you can step out there confidently with it, it should be all right, you know, right?
I mean, yeah, like everyone is really like the new songs. Like after every show, everyone's like, I really like the one about driving to work. Like every show.
That's great.
So I mean,
Everything's still kind of, I think we're retaining that kind of core punk rock energy. So I think that's maybe the common element, and you know, things that translate well to, you know, high energy live.
How far does it go? I mean, will you have like programmed like drums and like synths in that album that like you'll kind of decide that instrumentation, or are you gonna try to do it like with live drums still, or like a mix, or because when you say like dance music, a certain thing comes to people's minds, but then if you add like that, like when you start adding subgenres to things, even though it seems like you're trying to specify something, it means something different to everybody.
right.
So how you translate that into how you describe yourself is kind of up to you, how you want to put that out there.
When I say dance music,
Yeah.
I feel like for us it's more like Death from Above, 1979, that kind of like
Yeah.
It's like
dance,
danceable rock music.
like,
danceable
like
rock.
heavy still,
Yeah.
but you groove to it and dance to it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I hope that you guys could come back to Eugene in the future. Do you have any other? Is this your only stop here in Eugene? Are you going back? Where are you going next?
We're heading back to Seattle.
Head back to Seattle.
Yeah, we've been doing, because usually we'll grind it out in a van for like a few weeks to a month. But this last tour, we kind of breaking it up like by weekend, and like a few weekends ago we flew down to LA and we played some shows in LA. Last weekend we were in Seattle. This weekend was Portland, Eugene. So yeah, we're just covering the West Coast weekend by weekend. But I mean, we'll definitely be back in Eugene. Eugene's like there's no way to not play Eugene on a tour on the way down to like
I appreciate you saying
yeah.
that. That's
Yeah.
that means a lot. You know, honestly, I feel like
Eugene is unavoidable.
I mean, we don't get too many
Why'd you
like
say it like
huge
that?
acts. You know, we don't have a Moda Center equivalent or something like that, you know.
It's
Is
also
Wow-
fun talking about Eugene because it just sounds like you're talking about a guy.
Oh yeah.
Eugene is
Eugene's pretty
unavoidable.
cool.
He cannot be avoided.
Oh yeah. Sorry, you were saying something.
Is Wow Hall the biggest venue here?
Wow Hall isn't a huge venue. It's a nice sized indoor kind of like community run place. We get some good acts there. We had like Krungbin a couple years
Oh,
back
wow.
before they were like huge as they are now, and I didn't get to see them. That would have been cool.
I know like Gustav came through here.
Yeah. There's been some
Yeah.
cool acts. Eugene is most famously known for like, let's see, Floater and
Yep.
Yob
Those are
and
bands.
Yoser Benz.
Okay.
The concepts and
That's like a doomy one, right?
yeah. And Cherry Poppin' Daddies.
Oh, they're from here.
They're from here, yeah. Exactly. But the biggest venue I can think of is like the outdoor venue, which is Cuthbert Amphitheater. It's run by Kesey Enterprises. Also have a McDonald Theater, but that's a cool like outdoor seating, like
Cool.
kind of half dome thing.
Nice.
That'll be you should see about playing at that place at some point, because we give tickets away for Kesey places.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, good spot. Do you have any dream venues that you'd love to play? Say like first on the West Coast and then like larger area. Have you played like Gilman Street? You mentioned you're from California. Have you played that yet?
That's Bay Area, right?
Yeah, it's Bay Area. Yeah.
Is it Gilman 9? What's the number?
I
or
think
whatever?
is it 924?
I think
Gilman
it's whatever
Street?
whatever the.
Yeah, exactly. Like Green Day played there.
We have not played there.
Yeah.
But I think for Seattle, I would love to play the new Crocodile.
The new. All right, you got to explain what that is.
Because the Crocodile is like a big famous venue.
The Crocodile.
Yeah, and they moved locations, and we played the old Crocodile, but we haven't played the new Crocodile.
I love that name.
Yeah. I would personally love to play the Neptune. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah,
Another
yeah.
Seattle theater.
Another Seattle, yeah.
There's a venue in Mexico City called. Oh, did you say West Coast?
No, I mean West Coast and then beyond.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. There's a venue in Mexico City called House of Vans that is probably like the most terrible acoustically sounding room I've ever heard in my life. It's essentially like Vans like a shoe company.
Yeah,
It's-
yeah.
It's like a big concrete warehouse with a skate park in it. But the band plays on the edge of the bowl, so the audience is in the bowl.
Oh.
And it's so cool. Like I was there with, I was doing sound for a guy named Boris.
Mm.
I was doing a tour with them, and we did a show there, and it's probably one of the most, energy-wise, like terrible sounding room. It was probably one of the worst sounding shows I've ever done, but it was one of the best shows I've ever been to because the people there were amazing, and the scenery of just playing in like
So
a
awesome.
skate park.
It's like a Tony Hawk.
Totally.
It's like a Tony Hawk level,
Yeah.
the punk show. Did it sound better
I feel
in
like
the
that's
bowl?
actually a Tony Hawk level.
It might be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it sound better in the bowl or when you were on stage?
It sounded terrible everywhere. The acoustics in there, if you clap your hands or you hit a snare, the decay time was like, I'm not lying, like
Yeah.
3 seconds. It was just there's such a loud band, it was just a wash.
Decay just with reverb, or was there like a distinct like delay with like?
No, it was just like the delay.
Cavernous.
The
Oh
reverb
my
time.
gosh.
But one of the coolest shows I've ever seen.
I think we'll wrap up the conversation somewhat here. I want to ask you guys before we head out. We obviously are where we are now. We're happy. In terms of getting to where we are, what advice do you have for the people of Eugene, maybe that are listening, who are in bands, who want to be in the spot where you are now, maybe who want to be working in the same industries as you, who want to just get out there with their songs? What advice do you have for them to kind of help them get through that, get to where you are?
Never stop.
Yeah?
There you go. Drink lots of water.
I mean, for me personally, I think like things band related just like take way longer than you think it's gonna take you to obtain that goal or whatever. Like I never thought it would take, as long as it was to like put these albums out and like do KXP and like tour and stuff like that. It just, I think when when you want it so bad, you want it like now, but I think it's a lot. It takes a lot longer than you realize to get to where you want to be. So if you never stop, then you'll get It's like the best advice.
Just never
Yeah,
stop.
Just don't stop.
Anything else?
Just keep grinding, you know, it's a lot of hard work. I mean,
Lock in. Alright, folks. This has been Weep Wave live on KWVA live sessions. Where can these fine listeners of Eugene and Oak Ridge and Springfield and beyond, where can they find your music? Where can they find you next? Where can they find you playing live? What's the deal? I need all the info.
Yeah.
Going to Japan.
You can find us in Japan. Yeah, we're on YouTube. We are on Spotify. We're on Bandcamp. Our KXP session comes out on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Our records are available in the local record stores here. Do you
In
know the-
Eugene?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Do you know the names of the record stores?
Yeah, so we have House of Records.
We're definitely
is the main
there.
one, and then
Yeah.
there's Moon Rock Records.
I don't know
Are you
about
there?
that one. What's
Okay.
the comic book one with the records and the?
Comic book on the records?
There's like it's downtown somewhere. It's like there's comic books and video games. They have records and CDs and stuff.
Oh, Epic Seconds.
I think so.
That's probably.
But we're definitely at the
That's
House
great.
of Sound. Is that what you said?
House of Records.
House of Records. Yeah, we're definitely there.
That's
Go
awesome.
bug them.
Yeah, and we'll get your. We gotta get some of that music playing on the station here.
Nice.
Gotta get that going. I've already played a couple of your songs on my shows before. I already knew that one. That was
I saw you singing it. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, because it gets stuck in my head. It's good. It's a good like
Alternate reality.
yeah, it's a good like singing in the shower type of beat. You don't even need to like use consonants. You just that's
Eddie
the
Murphy.
best compliment I can give.
That's exactly how he sings. There's no concept.
Fantastic. All right, folks. Well, thank you all so much for listening. We will be We'll be back on the station in a couple minutes at the top of the hour for another excellent edition of Mixtape with DJ Mix. So stay tuned for that. Until then, I have been your very extremely humble, greatest college radio host of all time, DJ Taco Supreme. This has been Weep Wave. Anything else you want to say, folks?
We love you.
Thanks for having us.
Drink water.
All right, we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for listening. Look out for new live session videos. The one with Bender the Giant from a couple weeks ago is coming out soon, so stay tuned. All right, roll out.
That was fun.
Yay! Excellent. All right, thank you for signing the forms. I'm gonna sign them and get them logged in.
Yeah.
All that jazz.
Is there a backside? Cool. Man. Yeah. Thanks again.
Are you live on Instagram right now? Is that what I see?
Oh, really? Yeah, we did that.
Yeah, we
Are
done
the
it.
people watching?
What?
This camera cannot focus if you start slow light. That's okay.